I love that peace and smile you have there, Alex.
This is just for you, awesome. Alex.
Well, thank you. Oh.
Nut.
Welcome, Alex.
That was funny.
Welcome all the way from Aruba. It's good to see you. Thank you for reaching out to us and offering to come on tonight.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah, Dalibor from Germany, Karen up there in Canada, and my lovely producer and co-host Lori from
Reno, Nevada.
I wasn't going to give away your location.
West Coast.
I wasn't going to give it away. I know where you are. All right. Hey, everyone. Well, we have a really cool show tonight, I think, and I hope everybody had a great day today. Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice out, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I played with Kitty today. She actually interacted with me.
She's softening up, I take it.
My toes and everything. Yeah. No hissing, not hissing anymore. The wild cat is being tamed.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you feed them.
Yeah. And spoil them with toys and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, folks, Alex has offered to come on, and he has sent us a couple videos that Lori will be showing you in a little bit. And he's been in touch. If you take a look at our YouTube description page, apparently this month of November is really key to the events that are going on here now all around us and unfolding over the next couple of months. And so he has tapped into a Vedic astrologer by the name of Joni Patry, who has given a reading for what's coming up and how we can deal with what's coming up. Nice. He's also talked to, he's also got a video from a Superpower Coach Consultant by the name of Patti Pescetti. And she is doing the numerology side of it. So she also addresses of what's critical here in November. And I believe the Vedic astrologer has given us some steps that we can take to exercise our own internal power and magic to get through the difficulties that are coming down the pike over the next couple months. So that puts it in sort of a nutshell. And I'll just kick it over to Alex and Lori to figure out how they want to discuss it. Go ahead, Delmer.
I should point out that today is November 17th in most of the rest of the world. And it's a significant date because this is the date that in my country, we got rid of communism. And by my country, I mean Czechoslovakia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
it's like your Independence Day?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
today is like
national banking holiday.
It's a national holiday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in Canada. That's in Canada.
Wow.
Oh, no. He's in Germany.
No, Dalibar's in Germany.
I'm in Germany, but I'm Czech.
Right.
He's Czech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Check.
Yeah, and I'm in Canada.
But before we talk about some of the because Alex, you had asked us to dig into the astrology a little bit and talk about the differences between the Western and the Vedic astrology modalities. And Lori has found out some information. I've got some. We put it together, and Karen has been doing astrology forever.
I'm very interested in what she's got to say about it.
She'll be able to address it too.
Yeah.
And but after we give our greetings to everyone that's in chat and joining us, and to our viewers, thank you for being with us again tonight and continuing to support our program. There are a couple of housekeeping issues that I think we should get over in the front of all this, so that as people leave, they don't miss it. Is that okay, Lori?
Oh, absolutely.
So, thank you, Mary Wins. If you're in the chat room, I don't know, I can't really read the chat room.
Mary's here.
But, hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
She put out a notification
Hi,
today.
Miss Mary. Love you.
Love you, sweetheart. Yeah, she put out a notification today to try to help our sister Genevieve. Genevieve, excuse me. Genevieve. And she set up a PayPal link to give some financial assistance to Genevieve. Is going through some rough times, needs a little help with rent. Food and clothing are paramount, especially for her little girl. And she needs boots and winter clothing.
Warm jackets.
So, warm jackets, yeah. Anything that anybody can do to help would be greatly appreciated. There's the PayPal link here.
And that's in the chat box for you. And it's also in the description as well.
And Karen just added it, or is in the process of, no, she just added it.
No, she added it.
No,
To
it's done.
the donations page. It's done.
Right.
It's right
The
up there
Crystal
with
Network.
posies. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, which brings me to the second one, which is, and thank you for your generosity and your service, Mary. Okay. Thank you very much from everybody in the tribe for taking the lead on that. Also, Jennifer True Divine 44 has been working on the GoFundMe effort for Posy Blue. She goes by Posy Blue in the chat room, but none of us can reach her or get in touch with her. And we need her contact information so we can set her up with her bank account to link to the GoFundMe eventually. Right now, it's just a standalone that Jennifer's maintaining over in the UK, which is going to be a little tricky when it comes time to transfer that money over to our sister Posy. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of her, she's not on Facebook or Discord that I can tell, or in Messenger. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of Posy, please have her contact me or Jennifer True Divine. You can contact me through Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway at gmail.com or tmdanton@gmail.com, either way. But see if we can do a reach out, everyone, and see if we can get a hold of her. She's probably in temporary housing somewhere. This is the second house she's lost to a fire, which is tragic. And I thought she had a kid, but she was with her dog. She's been living with her dog and her cat. So she was in the hospital when the fire hit and had no home to go back to. So let's see what we can do to help her as much as, sorry she's had this happen to her twice now. It's terrible. So we sent her all of our love and support, and thank Jennifer True Divine for taking the lead on that. And happy birthday to Joey MacArthur.
Happy birthday. Didn't know. Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know until about 30 minutes ago. I saw a posting out there from Crystal. So
awesome. That's great.
Yeah, so happy birthday to Joey.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge chat real quick. Elderberry's in the house. We got Mary Wins. Good to see you. Max Vision remote class viewing. Good to see you as always. Julianne Margaret. Good to see you. Can't wait for Friday. That's going to be great with Mark Bright. Jules, good to see you as well. Delaney Pearl Jones, always a pleasure. Truth Seeker, always love seeing you here. Thank you. Max G's in the house. Let's see. Project Skyfall's good to see you as well. And Max G, I think I said that. Yeah.
Max G, yep.
Michelle Canham Free, good to see you. Yep, I got him first.
Yeah.
And Deborah L. Smith, good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. 1111 Code, good to see you. Hey, Mom, how are you? Let's see, who else? Yeah, all right, that's it for now.
Hi, Deborah Smith. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see
Hope
everybody.
You're feeling better.
Yeah.
Just had a tough time.
So we got a quick video, a very quick video to watch, and Alex suggested that we watch these two gals, and it's very good. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and we'll take a look at it, and then we can discuss all this other good stuff after. How's that sound? As I pull this up for you. Here we go, folks. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Joni Patry. Today I want to talk about the month of November, and we have some very significant events that are about to happen in the month of November. One of the main features that I always look to as an astrologer are eclipses, and we will be having the lunar eclipse in November on November 19th. This will set up a whole array of major emotional changes around the world. I've been talking a lot about the grand finale. What do I mean by that? Really what I mean is everything has been mounting and building over the past year of 2021, and now everything comes to the culmination point with a major explosive event. This will probably be more like in the month of December and January that we're going to feel it the most. But let me just tell you, November is the month you're going to see the direction it's all going in as we approach the eclipse season. What they are is actually when the sun and the moon come together with Rahu and Ketu, Rahu being the north node of the moon and Ketu being the south node of the moon. How powerful is that? Think about what the sun and moon represent. They represent the male, the female, the whole entire setup here on planet Earth, mother, father, night, day, positive, negative forces. And I don't mean negative in a bad way. I mean, this is the electric charges of things. We have to have this polarity that makes the world go round. But considering what an eclipse is, eclipses are when you have the darkening of the light of the sun or the light of the moon. And in that darkness, always something is revealed. When we go into that darkness, think symbolically, we darken and we go into that quiet darkness where all the secrets and things can become uncovered. Then we have the return of the light comes back. So in that darkness, things are revealed that we did not know. Now this goes to what's going on globally in the world, and it's about time we get some answers here, right? And it also applies to your life personally, because there will be something that will be revealed to you that you didn't know about in your life, that will give your life great understanding and meaning. So look to these eclipses as something powerful. So the lunar eclipse that happens the 19th of November is 3 degrees of Taurus, which is extraordinarily meaningful. But then again, 2 weeks following, December 4th, we're going to have the solar eclipse. And this is going to really, between those 2-week periods, bring to light something that will be very surprising, I might say shocking to the world. So watch how this all unfolds. But going back to this lunar eclipse that happens on the 19th of November, what I think is going to really be revealed is a lot of world leaders are going to show their true colors of their losing their head. Explosions of emotion. Why do I say that? 3 degrees of Taurus, where we will have this lunar eclipse, full moon, is exactly conjunct the fixed star Algol. And this is considered to be the most violent and the most destructive fixed star of the heavens. This is astrology, the language of the stars. This star is said to be the most violent. They say it represents decapitation. This is huge that the lunar eclipse happens on this star. So what does that mean, decapitation? It means losing your head, losing your temper, being out of control. You better watch in your own life. Don't let this affect you in such a negative way as it could. Keep your cool, keep your calm, and always ask yourself, do I have control over this situation? If you do, do something about it. But let me just say, you're going to see people in the news, people that rule countries, losing it. This is what this is going to bring about. And you know what always happens out of that, I must say? The truth comes out. Once something comes to an explosive event, then the clearing reveals what it was all about. This is what's finally happening at this time, moving into December. But as we move into December, let me just give you fair warning. Mars is going to be going into Scorpio, triggering where the eclipses are through December and January. And this is going to be, well, let me just say, it could be very warlike. And I have been predicting that this year of 2021 will have the remnants of war, because people are losing it. People are angry. People have been frustrated. They have not been told the truth in so many instances, and we know it now. It used to be that we didn't know because the media, everything was preventing things from coming out. Now people have the freedom to really explore what's happening because we have the internet, because we have all of these aspects of social media, that we can truly see what's been happening behind the scenes, under the surface. And now, well, I gotta say, a lot of people don't have a lot of trust in their leaders anymore based on what they are seeing. So throughout this month of November, we have one thing and another occurring continually, leading up to the grand finale, as I've been calling it. So we have this new opening, an opening to truth, an opening to awareness, an opening to awakening to the truth. Been talking about this for a while. What a time to be on planet Earth, to see all the revelations and the changes finally coming about. Yes, we had things a lot calmer before, but we were all asleep before. Now we see the reality and the truth of it all, what's behind the scenes. And now there is so much opportunity for spiritual growth. And let me talk about what I feel the month of November, how you can use this for your highest good, especially probably one of the most meaningful holidays we celebrate in the United States, called Thanksgiving. It will be November 25th. It's always on the fourth Thursday of the month. I think it's very meaningful as well that it's on a Thursday, because Thursday is Jupiter's day. And Jupiter is the planet that deals with spirituality, deals with higher mindedness, truth. And there's nothing more higher mindedness than to come from a place of gratitude. Thanksgiving is a holiday that we celebrate in the United States. It's actually our birthday in essence for the United States of America. But here's what it's truly about. This holiday, everyone comes together in a family and friends come together, and we celebrate what we're thankful for. How beautiful is that? This empowers your life in ways beyond comprehension. You see, when we come from a place of gratitude, what happens is that energy that we put out in terms of respecting and telling people how grateful we are and how much we love them, what you put out is always what's returned back. This is the law of the universe. That is why we're here. We're not here to hate and be angry and resentful. We're here to love, be compassionate, and heal.
So November, being a 7 universal month, tells us that this is a time when we are being pulled deep down back into our spiritual life. This is a time of peace, serenity, and solitude, so that we can sort of have a spiritual reawakening, a spiritual regrouping, so that we can remember and recall that we're not alone. There comes a time in our journey, and usually it's when we're in this cycle of the 7, where no matter how hard we try to find the answers, to know the next best step, to push and move progress forward, no matter how hard we try to do that, we feel stuck. There's like a boulder in our way. There comes a time when we experience this confusion and this doubt, where we ask ourselves, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why did I start this in the first place? And we might even experience like uncertainty and doubt about ourselves, about our dreams. Like, am I really capable of doing this, of having this, of being this? Am I worthy? These are all the initial signs and symptoms of being in the cycle of the 7. And if you're experiencing them, don't worry. They're perfectly on point. These are signs and symptoms that you just forgot. You forgot that you're not alone. You forgot that there is a bigger and greater loving energy that's responding to you, that's bolstering you, that's supporting you. I oftentimes trip out about this fact that the 7 comes before the 8. I think I've talked about this in every single forecast that's the 7, but it's worth repeating here. The 7, spiritual support, spiritual understanding, spiritual depth, comes before the 8, manifestation, power, business success, abundance. What is this about? What is this about? It's enchanting. It tells us that for us to be able to truly rise into being this empowered manifester in our lives, we need our cosmic best friend. We need a direct line to our spiritual life. So what's really important to talk about here then is, what does surrender look like? Because the 7 is this month of absolute magic, that if we surrender, if we rest, if we lean back into this bigger and greater energy, then we'll find the answers. Then we'll find our next best step. Then we'll receive the inspiration and the guidance that we need to move forward, to progress, to manifest at a higher level. A lot of us associate surrender with waving the white flag of completely letting go, no longer being accountable, no longer being responsible, and feeling like we are now at the whim of what's happening in the external world. That's not what surrender is. I want you to think of surrender not as necessarily a letting go, but a letting in. You're letting in that bigger and greater energy. You're letting it in. You're leaning back into it. And from there, you are enchanted. You're inspired. From there, miracles happen. So I'm going to give you 4 steps to do this, okay? I'm very passionate about this. 4 steps of how to surrender and lean back in to this spiritual life so that you can move forward, so that you don't give up on your dreams, so that you amass the spiritual support that you need to move to the next level. So step number 1, it's very important, is to presence the dream or desire that you're committed to. A lot of people miss this step. A lot of people feel abandoned by their creator. They feel abandoned by the universe. And a lot of the time that's because they forget. It is so important to constantly regroup and come back to your desire every morning. This is the desire that's on my heart. This is what I so want to create with you. Write it down. This is what I want. This is what's on my heart. Step 2, ask for help. You will not receive spiritual support if you don't ask for help. If you don't open the door, if you don't answer the phone, if you don't let that bigger and greater energy in, by asking, by admitting that you don't know, you will never receive the answers that you seek. You will never receive those breadcrumbs. Those doors will not open. So you need to ask. Admit you don't know by asking. Literally out loud. In the morning, in the shower, whenever you have that moment, say, I need help. I don't know the next step. I'm experiencing doubt. I'm experiencing uncertainty. Please, please help me. Step number 3, listen. This bigger and greater energy always delivers those breadcrumbs of inspiration, but so many of us are so busy. We're inundated by the chatter of the world around us, by other people's thoughts and opinions, by the problems of our family members, our loved ones, by work, by social media, by the news. This is why one of the ways that we access spiritual magic with the 7 is through solitude, through serenity. This is why people that have a 7 in the chart are the people that stand in the garage with the door closed, trying to just have a peaceful moment away from the kids. A 7 thrives. The 7 energy thrives in peace and serenity, because that is where those incredible breadcrumbs of inspiration come right in. So meditate, pray, do yoga. Sip your coffee on the back porch as you watch the sunrise. Or maybe just have that 5 minutes alone in the shower where you presence your desire, you ask, and then you listen. And the last step, step number 4, act on the inspiration that you receive. Do not doubt it, okay? If the inspiration that you receive is to start that jewelry line that's been on your heart, don't diminish it. Don't doubt it. Lean into it. If it's to write that article, do it. If it's to have that conversation with that person, take that leap of faith and act on that inspired guidance that you receive. Your cosmic best friend, it needs to know that you are a trustworthy companion that's going to actually respond to the messages that are received. These 4 steps are going to allow you to surrender, to rest, to lean back into that bigger and greater energy, and to actually see the miracles that come from doing so. You're not alone.
Sorry about that.
Great message.
Wasn't it awesome?
Yeah. Yep.
Love that. Great video, Alex.
Yeah, really good.
Both
Alex,
videos.
you're
Thank you.
muted. There
Sorry.
you go. That's okay.
There he is.
Yeah, no, I love how you put the videos together. The numerology aspect of it, and then you have the astrology aspect of it, combining them both.
Yeah. Well, you actually put those videos together. I just edited them for you. So you did the work, brother.
Great contribution. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, Alex. What did you want to? You wanted to talk about the numerology side of it, and then you were hoping that some of us on the panel could help you with the astrological aspects of it, and talk a little bit about what this Vedic astrology is all about compared to Western.
Yeah, give the Vedic astrology aspect of what's happening, because there's a lot happening during this time, and I see a lot of people are losing their mind. And this time is a good time, especially this month being a 7 universal month. 7 is a spiritual energy, is all going inward, meditate, like the net was saying from net numbers. And then we're going to go in December, which is an 8 universal month. It's all about being in your power and stepping into your power. And then January is going back to a 7, and then an 8 and a 9, and the 9 will be March, this completion being ending. And then April being 1 universal month, starting fresh, new cycle, the new 9 cycle. And what I understand also from the Vedic Astrologer, I don't know which one it was, saying that this whole what's called code word convuvu thing virus is going around now.
Yeah.
The cootie bug.
Cootie bug.
Yeah.
The cootie bug
That's
is
what
going
I
to
call.
be ending. The cootie bug then is going to be ending then in March. So that's what she read about the planet. Like the astrologers say that they read planets. Planet doesn't lie. I read numbers. Numbers doesn't lie.
Right.
And it seems like it's correlating that in March being the 9th universal month, that we're going to come to a completion in March.
Yeah,
So,
that's what 9 is. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Karen?
Oh my goodness, which part? Okay. Oh no, I loved
I was just
it.
gonna
It
say
was
the
great.
same
But
thing.
no, Alex is right on. When you
Yeah.
go between, I thought, from the 7 to the 8 is just, it's like a calm before the storm and a rising of energy, and we've been building and building, and so we are heading towards that, and then to a completion as well, for sure. Yeah, and Vedic astrology, I'm not as familiar with, although I know what it's based on compared to Western, although which I've done for years and years. But I think I find them both accurate, as long as you're using the same system, right? Once you use the system, they get used to what you see and the cycles and the patterns, and within that system, they're both accurate. Although I see, with Vedic, I've been sort of looking at it a bit more. But one of the things she said was about the significance of the south and the north nodes. She called them something else, K2 and Ratu or something, I think, right, Alex?
Right.
Yes.
And it means the same thing, though. She kind of touched on it within the duality part of it, right? But the way I was taught with it is exactly as it. The south node is where you come from, or the past, and the north node is when we're moving towards that. It's always where you're heading to, or where you're going, what direction you're going. So that's the real importance, and that's the importance of the cycle we're in right now, is to look at the past. And we're really been looking at that because of what's been going on in the world, and the energy and the friction and the stress and everything that we're moving towards, and frantically, as fast as we can, it seems. So we're definitely heading, using that. And then with the North Node, where we're going to, like you said, Alex, and the number 7, as the woman was saying, it gives us that time to evaluate that, right? To sit in the 7, look at where we came from, look at the past, and then what we want to move towards in the future towards the North Node.
Right.
Yeah, and then after, well, let somebody else talk. We can talk about as well what she was talking about as far as the 4 things that she was talking about, and the importance of intent and manifestation. So, but somebody else can put some
Alex,
other things in.
Thanks, Karen. I have a question for you, Alex. What form do you follow? Do you follow the Vedic? Is there a specific one, or do you have your own, or what form do you follow for the astrology, the numerology?
The Vedic astrology seems to be accurate one,
Mm-hmm.
and the numerology just the normal one, the Western one. But that's the thing with the Western one, my life path is not counted. Only in the Eastern one and in the Egyptian one, there you have the 44 life path. So I look at their information too, and all of it. The Egyptian one also, they say the same, because each number has a specific vibration with it, and all of it, the one of Egypt and Eastern, they say the same about the 44, but the 44 is included in both of them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Because
just in the
excellent. Yeah.
the Western one, it goes till 33.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they've also, I acknowledge
44.
it, even though the Western, I always acknowledge the 44 myself, I guess, as well. But you are correct, Alex. There's much more accuracy in certain things I've learned about the Vedic, and because they're looking directly at the planets and the position, right? So
Yes, and they also over the nakshatra.
The changes in the star configurations too, the constellations, because the Western tradition, they say, and I don't know anything about any of this, but I looked it up before the show. But they're saying that the Western modality, they don't look at the transition and change of the position of the star, the celestial configurations over ages, over time, whereas the Vedics track it all. They track the movement of the star constellations, and so when you're looking at the planetary alignments with the constellations, you get a much more accurate read that's more real time, in other words, for their predictions.
Yes.
Than in the Western tradition. And also there's a 23-degree variance between the location and position of the planets that they're tracking. In the Vedic practice, the astrological signs differ on the birth dates. So you might be a Cancerian in one, and well, there's like 4 or 5 specific birth signs that are different because the constellations have moved and changed, and the distance, there's a 23-day gap between what used to be and what is now. And so you might think you're a Leo when you're actually something else in the new readings. And so a lot of people just bolt at that because they're, this is my sign, because they're used to the Western tradition. But the karmic readings and the deeper level meanings that are in the Vedic tradition are more accurate for your reading. Right, Karen?
That's right. That's why I started off saying, depending on what system, and I know the Vedic is more accurate now, but it wasn't back in the day. People weren't aware of it, and we didn't practice it, when I first started back in the 80s. So it was really with the Western that we're, using then. But that's why I said, if you're using a system and use that same system, it still has benefits, because you learn it's the same, but although the Western, they do progressions of charts for sure. We do progress into the future quite far, but in a different way, like you said.
They use slightly different planets. Truth Seeker just pointed out they do. The Vedic do not use the outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But the Vedics do use the northern and southern polars of the moon, whereas Western doesn't. So they recognize a little bit more. They're more all-encompassing. And the houses differ because they look at the houses as one great big house. They don't look at all. They're tracking. They're not only tracking the motion of the planets with the constellations, but there's multiple houses within the greater house. So they get down to a more minute level of detail, right? I guess if I want a reading, I should go into
From what I've seen. Yes.
Just, you know what? I'm pissed because when I go into a Chinese food restaurant and they have a placemat and I see the Chinese system of the horoscope, I'm a rat. I'm a dirty little rat.
I'm a rabbit.
I'm a dirty rat.
Yeah? I'm a rabbit too.
And I'm a
You're
crab.
a rabbit too, Alex. So that's cool.
I'm a crab in the Western, so I was kind of hoping the Vedic would have a different animal for me. And guess what? I'm still a crab in the Vedic. So my choices are crab or rat. Somebody give me something better. Anyway.
So I did want to ask. Oh, sorry, Teresa. I did want to ask Alex back to the video. And as they were talking about November now, right? As far as the importance of November and the build up to December and where we're at. And you as well, Dalabar, you probably have an input. And as far as history and maybe in the past, certain big events that can correlate for people, exactly, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, the event, the October Revolution happened today. Because they call it the October Revolution because according to the Russian calendar, this would have been still October. So today is a significant date. And I would add that, I would go with that numerology thing where November, according to the Roman calendar, was actually the 9th month. That's why you have Novo, which is 9, but Novam or Novus also means new. So it means literally new, leading up to December. In my language, which is Czech, the month of November translates as listopad, and that literally means leaves have fallen down. So because it's a seasonal thing. It's also significant that you have a lunar eclipse happening on the 19th of November, and then a solar eclipse on the 4th, where on the 5th of December in our calendar we have the first Christmas. Because we celebrate 2 Christmases in my country. The 5th of December, which is the feast of St. Nicholas, and then the 24th of December, which is the traditional Catholic Christmas. So, but getting back to the fact that it's on the 19th of the 11th month, that's also kind of significant because that kind of evokes memories of 1911. And 1911, at least in my mind, is pretty significant because, that's when they designed the first fully semi-automatic Colt handgun. You see, you have the Colt 1911 model.
And that changed everything.
That changed everything. That's referenced. Everybody who shoots knows about the Colt 1911 model. And that was 2 years before the Federal Reserve happened. And as that First Lady pointed out, it's pretty much at the point where it's not only the emperor has no clothes, it's more like the emperor has no brain, in more ways than one. And you know which emperor I'm talking about.
For sure. Alex, how long have you been doing numerology, and how did you get started in it? I'm very curious about that.
Well, it started when I came from Holland. I went to study there, lived there for 4 years. And when I came back, numbers started to pop up, like angel numbers. And then I went to research, and I wasn't the only one seeing angel numbers. And from there, I got into numerology. So I think maybe 5-6 years I've been learning it slowly.
Do you offer
I'm seeing that everything. Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted, and there's a lag.
Oh,
Continue.
okay. No. Just I done that. I was asking people, check the per day, see if it correlates, and then I came across also Fibonacci sequence, and then when we have also the flower of life. So this is everywhere. You get everywhere. Like they also call it the fingerprint of the God, with 1, 6, 1, 8, and it's in creation, it's in everything. So that's why I'm seeing there's a higher being controlling everything. Everything is by design by design. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. And so do you offer services or anything like that? People can come to you and give you their numbers and
just do it for fun, as a hobby. When I go to people's channels, sometimes I like on Code and on Milky Way Brian, I went there and I do the personal
I remember
year
you being
number
on
and
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
that I do for a hobby. Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, it is true. Exactly what you're saying, Alex. You have a lot of numerological coincidences when you look for them. When you are the type of person like myself, you become literally obsessed with them, and they pop into your life all the time. Like, for example, a small example that I'm looking at right now on my keyboard. Yesterday, I took out the garbage. Yesterday was Tuesday. Tuesday is the second day. And I found in my driveway, I don't know who dropped this, a 20-cent piece, 20-euro-cent piece.
Huh.
And so I looked at the date, and what is the date? It's 2002. So on a Tuesday, the second day, I found a 20-cent piece dated 2002.
I do that a lot with license plates.
Yeah.
In traffic. Do you do that too?
So you had a number 2 day. So Alex, what's the number 2 for him? If he had a number 2 day,
Yeah.
so what's number 2 for him that day?
There you go.
Number 2 as opposed to number 1.
Yeah, 2 is more the harmony, peace, balance number. No conflict, just harmony. Yeah. Compared to the 1. The 1 is the trailblazer pioneer, just going forward.
The
I tell you,
optimizer.
I don't know much about any of this, but I'll tell you one thing. I was kidding around. I was following up on something Lori and I were talking about, because I was driving through town and I saw my old route number for the bus that I used to drive that I had that accident on was 5829. Well, that's also the bank account that I had set up a long time ago. And then 5829 was also a code that was given to me back in the auxiliary Coast Guard. So I guess if you add up 5829, you'll find out what the number is. Isn't that how it works? But then the same thing, I've lived at 13407 street addresses, 13407 on 5 locations that I've lived in the past. And they all added up to, I think Lori and I figured it out, it was supposed to be prosperity and abundance.
That's the 8. That's the number 8.
Prosperity and abundance. And then I moved into this house, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. And this house is 25510, right? And I'm in a chapter 13. So had I known how to use numerology, I may have gone, oh, hell no, I'm not moving into that house.
That's like my business address. It's 257, which reduces to a 5, which is constant change. You know, And
Oh,
that's
yes.
exactly what I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
dealing with. And had I
Yeah.
really paid attention to that address, then I did my home address, and it came up as a 9, 1485, and that came up as completion, which
Cool.
is exactly
that's
right. So it's
that's the
amazing.
so that's the humanitarian number, love giving I know that I've looked into that too. Like each house has a number, and that it represents like a shield around house. And like
Yes.
for example, I know a friend that has a 9 number, it reduced to a 9, and that house is full loving, all good for animals too, and
Yeah.
a caring house, you know.
Yeah. When people come to my house, they go, "Gosh, the energy here is just amazing." I'm like, it's just peace and serenity here, all the animals are happy, everything is good. So
Welcome,
yeah, that
welcome,
9 says a lot.
Vaughn Reed. You're welcome. It's good to see you. Just a word of warning: don't go to a bingo game.
That's funny.
You got that?
Yeah, right.
Well, if I do, I'm taking Alex with me.
Lol.
Hi, princess.
So it's true that the numbers are the language of the universe, huh, Alex?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can see that.
And the
Yes.
numbers don't lie, do they?
No, they don't. They
Yeah.
revealed, and you can, for example, this year was 5 universal year, and this year was all about changing and transformation for everybody.
Yes.
And I calculated yours too was the 18, right? The 18 was your birthday.
19th.
19. Oh, the
Mhm.
19.
Yeah.
But the 19th of August, right?
Yes, correct.
And this year was 5 years. So, and here says that you're in a personal year 5 also. So I can imagine this year was a very
Lots of growth.
for me. Yeah,
Mhm.
lots
Lots
of
of information, lots of absorbing. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. You're absolutely right. That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the
You're-
numbers don't lie.
No, they don't lie. It
Yeah.
correlates. So your personal year number is correlating with the universal year number. And next year we're
Wow.
going to win a 6 year, and the 6 is all about
Wow.
nurturing and helping. It's a nurture caregiver number. So I'm thinking something, maybe it looks like something's gonna come out that people gonna need nurture.
Yeah.
So that is what is showing me.
Elderberry
Wow.
wants you to tell us how you offset it, Alex.
How to
Offset it.
offset. How to
Offset what?
Offset what, Barry?
Maybe he means how to counteract it.
Counteract anything negative, I guess. Well, she just the lady who was doing the numerology. She was actually giving us 5 steps, wasn't it? Her
Oh,
Well,
4 steps. Yeah.
4 steps
Um,
to tapping
yeah.
in and meditating and having that time to communicate with your guides and asking for help and
yeah.
I
centering.
would say each one of us has our own personal bad number and just avoid it, because like in my case, my personal bad number happens to be 21. The fact that this year is 2021 has nothing to do with that. It's been my unlucky number since forever. So anything I've touched that was related somehow to whether it was a house number, it's always been bad for me. Always anything to do with 21.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some people it could be 13. Some people have an aversion to the number 13. But in my instance,
Yeah.
for example, Friday the 13th has usually been a very lucky day for me.
I've heard people say that before. It's either
Yeah.
negative or positive. I guess
Yeah.
I think it's all in the way you look at it sometimes,
Mhm.
but there is something to be said for
Mhm.
certain numbers. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I tell you, I'd love to do Brother Gary's Kavanaugh's numbers because he's been through it and back out the other side, and so is Jules, and they're winning. Their process is winning. They found
Yes.
out today that in
Yeah.
Melbourne, there's not enough votes for that guy to get into office to shove these mandates down people's throats. The people rose up in a peaceful
Oh,
way.
saw that. I recently saw videos out of Australia, Teresa, with the people in the streets. Did you not
Yes.
see
Oh, it's
those?
amazing.
my
Yes, I
goodness.
saw them. They had up
Like
to
a carpet of
90,000
people.
some people, and
Mhm.
not up to 90,000. The reporters downplayed it, of course, and tried to make it sound more like 10,000. And it's like, no. And then somebody came along and said, no, it was 60,000. And now they're saying it's over 90,000. It
So
could have even
even
reached a million.
even 90,000 is a huge number. Huge.
All in
Oh,
that
yeah.
little city of Melbourne, you betcha.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
their people's
And-
voices were heard, and they didn't get the votes they needed. So
Yeah.
sounds
Now
like
I'm
they've
seeing.
won.
That's right.
It says in the headline news, OSHA has suspended enforcement of
Yes, I saw
Biden's-
that, Dalibor. Yeah, very good. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's a small victory right there for sure.
And that video you shared with me yesterday, Dalibor, I shared it out with some folks. I can't put it in Facebook, but I put it in Messenger and shared it out. And that was pretty interesting. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because what this guy's doing is phenomenal. It's a way of countering all this.
Well, basically, the agenda is all based around money, and the money system, the money basically runs out in 2026. That even if nothing had been done about Social Security, the money would have run out. Instead, what they did is they increased benefits without raising the contribution or taxes. So, if nothing is done, Social Security goes bankrupt. That's why they basically have to get rid of all these older people and all these people dependent on government services. That's one of the real reasons behind what's going on right now.
But what he's doing is he's proposing that you just boycott certain things. You just don't, you just keep on going your own way and not doing what they're telling you to. But then financially, they're going to cause them to collapse by not putting your money into what they're telling you to put your money into, which is all the pharmaceuticals and
See, the temptation is there because that's the only sector in the stock market that's been going up. Like the airline industry down, tourism industry down. Everything is down except for that one particular sector. So I would say keep your money out of the conventional investments and go for either tried and true stores of value like silver, gold, real estate, machinery especially. I hate to say this, but maybe even consider some of the cryptos.
Max Vision Remote has a question. Code, my apartment number is 1111. Any idea what number would complement that? And also, Alex, the question's for you. What is the 1111 thing all about? Can you shed any light on that?
Mostly when 1111 starts to pop up, it's mostly about your spiritual awakening. You're starting to get on your spiritual path. So it's also you're gonna get spiritual insight. You move into another spiritual lesson. You're advancing at your spiritual path. That's mostly when you see 1111.
1111. And then how about
transformation?
555. I would see that a lot.
555.
333. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
333 is something I see all the time.
555 is prepare for a transformation, a major shift is about to happen.
Makes
And
sense.
333 is mostly with your guardian angels, your archangels that are surround you, and they're guiding you. So if you need to take risk, if you see those numbers, just go for it. They're there with you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I think a lot of
333
people
is
are curious about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
I had an interesting experience with 1111 because we were talking about this around the year 2000. Me and my friend, we were driving down back home. It was about 4 a.m. and we started talking about like these numerological coincidences in the number 1111. And we were saying, yeah, if you see 1111, it means something. It means like the matrix is calling your attention to something. And at that point, we both looked at the radio, and the radio was saying 1111. And so we were like, does it say that all the time? So we waited, and sure enough, it switched to 1112, 1113, 1114. So
Yeah,
I wonder if we're just not
an
more.
affirmation.
I just kind of wonder if we're just not more in tune to it now. Like a year ago, I didn't pay much attention to it, but the chat rooms are flooded every time it turns 11:11 in a chat room, or and so you're more in tune to it. So you look for it now when you're driving down the street, or you look for it. You're just more consciously aware of 11:11.
Hmm.
No,
Yep.
it's true. It's just like all of a sudden when you buy a new vehicle that's a certain type and color, then all of a sudden you never noticed them before, and then all of a sudden they're everywhere, you know?
Hmm.
I'll tell you what it means, what's more meaningful to me.
True.
And that is, it's like if I just have a normal day, I'm out cutting the grass or doing whatever, and I happen to glance over the clock, and it's 2:22. I don't give any thought to it, and then I go out, and I go to the store, and the price of the beef is $2.22 a pound for the lunch meat, the cheaper stuff. And I go, okay, and I go, that's twice today I've seen 222. I still go along my way. And then I might see it up on the scoreboard for the Damascus High School football score, is 22. 22 to 20, twos. And I was like, all of a sudden I had a day of 222.
Hmm.
And now I'm aware of it, so I don't necessarily go looking for it, but I'll notice now when it pops up more than once in a day.
Yeah.
There's a message there. I just don't know what it is because I don't know
Yeah.
where to look to get the answers.
Does anybody have favorite numbers? Like for me, I love the number 4 and also 11.
7 and 11. Yeah.
47, 79.
Wow.
Good numbers. Those are
Wow.
good numbers. Oh, yeah.
20,
Karen?
20 and
Ooh,
20 and 22. 20 and
20,
22.
22.
okay.
They're often on the Powerball ticket. Off the 5 numbers, 20 and 22 are like always in there.
Yeah. 47. That's
It's
a,
like
that's
a
a great.
Powerball,
Ahead of
Sharon.
mine.
At least it's a good number for me.
I'll put you to work, Karen. Drop 5 numbers into my box every day, especially on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Okay.
All right.
Hi, Mandy Moo. The number 11,
Hi,
11
Mandy.
usually precedes most messages. Then they will begin to pay more attention to not just numbers, but other patterns like feathers and animal meanings. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
it's true.
Well, you know what, too?
Oh, yeah.
I just had a thought too, Alex might comment, because we were just doing the 1111 number and what that meant. But then look at the numerology number for a person and what the 11 is, because there's the special double numbers. Instead of a 1, you're an 11, or you're a 22, which that's why I like 22, because I'm a 22. and then 33, whatever. So yeah. So how would that correlate, Alex, with 1111? What's the one for what's the 11 by itself for a person?
For
Like,
the
what does that
person,
mean? Yeah,
if a person life path, if they embrace on
yeah.
the
Their life
astro
path.
number 11, they're mostly the spiritual messenger. They are
That's right. Yeah.
connection with the higher that they can give through just what flows with the universe. They have a message if they step into that path. They're the higher vibration.
thought.
They're the higher. They can go easily like the 7 and 9 to the spiritual path. Mostly the 7 are also the spiritual teacher. The 11 can also be a spiritual teacher, and the 11 and the 9 can also have almost the same vibration. Well, yeah, they're mostly
So
the spiritual
So
teacher.
then that would make sense that the 1111 that everybody sees is this, like you said, is the spiritual awakening, or it could be the, activation and when, the transformation, the major thing. So that would correspond with that life path 11. Then that's exactly the same thing, but a double whammy.
I was excited. I was excited a couple years ago when somebody gave me 11 and said your life path is 11. And then after that, I've had numerous people tell me it was a 2. Tonight, Alex computed it, and it's an 11. So, Alex, how did you come up with 11 how did you add up the month, day, and year? How are you doing it?
There's 2 ways that they do it in the numerology world. There's one way that they the month, the day, and the year, they separate it, and then they put it to a single digit, and then they add it up together, and then you get to a number. But I do it another way, is because this way I wouldn't get on my number. I know Natalie from Net Numbers, the person that just talked about, she also do it the way I do it.
Yeah.
Is you put all the numbers, you add them all singly together, and then you will sum up what you get. And by doing that, I got 44. By doing the other way, you will not get 44. So that's just a different way of calculating. Yeah, your life path number.
Yeah, when you talk to an actual numerologist or even an astrologer who knows numerology, they do it one way. These bots that are out here on Google, what's my life path? And they take you to an automatic calculator. They're doing it the way you described it the first time. And they'll always spit out a 2 for me.
Yeah.
But when you go to someone like you who does the readings, because you're using the methodology that you're using, I get an 11. Now I've also gotten a 22, a 2 over 2-2, and I don't know what that's about, but somebody gave me a 2 over a 2-2 and said I'm both a 2 and a 2-2. I'm like, okay, how can you be both?
A 2-2?
A 2-2.
I know the 22 in numerology represent the master builder. So the 22 represent them. So the person has 22 wants to build something long lasting. I can give you an example of a perfect life path. 22 is the one that built Coral Castle in Miami.
Yeah, Coral Castle.
Yeah. She wants a life path master number. Yeah.
So if I give you one right now, like 10/29/1954, what would you come up with?
Let me see.
10/29/1954.
31.
Yeah, 31.
4, so it's a 4.
Yeah.
So it's a 4.
Yeah.
So what is significant about a 4?
The 4 is the builder, is the lower vibration from
stability.
From the 22. The 22 is like the 4 on steroids. So the 4 just want to build, have a good foundation structure and the family.
Like 4 legs to a table.
Exactly. I just gave you my brothers. And his profession is a builder.
Interesting. There you go.
It correlates.
It does. It really does.
I swear to God, you can't.
It's surprising. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it fits. No, and I know, Alex, for myself, I am a 22 master builder, and that's all I've done is built businesses, corporations, big systems, and I build websites even now. I build.
And that's the line of work I had.
So pulling and organizing to build things. Always,
And that's the line of work I was in. And when people said I was a 22, that makes sense. But now I'm 11.
It's interesting that mine is a 38, and since we were talking about guns, a 38 is also a gun.
That's true. My favorite weapon.
Well, nobody said, and nobody, and here's the thing. I'll come across a scientist or I'll come across a mathematician, and even my college professors in astronomy class. They're like, stay away from astrology and numerology. It's bogus. It's a pseudoscience. I'm like, okay. It's like, okay, so it's not perfectly accurate, okay? But we can see, those of us who follow it, we know it's not 100% accurate. It's just a guide. Lori and I had this conversation the other day. I'm like, I don't want a blueprint because I had some bad experience early on with some astrology readings. And I felt like it was mapping out my life and it was a blueprint. And I was like, ah. So Lori was able to give me that little extra nudge and say, hey, don't think of it as a blueprint. Think of it as a guideline. It's just something to help give you some direction, give you some comfort.
It does validate too, just as it did with your brother.
Yeah, you get some validation. So anything that can help you.
Keep in mind, the two fields that we're talking about, we've done as humans for thousands of years. So, I mean, for them to, say that it's a pseudo or it doesn't work, I think the proof is in the pudding. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be around still.
What it doesn't do,
right?
The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't follow modern day, well, they consider that advancement, okay? Modern day mathematical formulas or because we've grown, we've evolved, we know more now. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So you're saying that back then they were just really stupid? These people knew how to read the stars and the planets, and it had an impact on their lives, whether it was physically, so psychologically, it had an impact, and it
Mankind's been watching the
yeah,
skies
since the
forever,
beginning of time,
and think about it. Back then, especially, there was no TV or
Yeah.
radio or internet or any of that, and many people would just sit there and watch. I mean, look
Yeah.
at Galileo and all of these people that study the stars.
Plus,
Anytime-
the people in government that followed it. Go ahead, Delaware. Sorry.
Yeah, anytime somebody says the word pseudoscience, I always remember think of sudo, S-U-D-O. For any of the Linux users out there, that sudo, that's like one of the most, you know what that is. That's like
pseudocode. Yeah.
That's the super user code for like doing anything you want in Linux. Once you get the command prompt, you go sudo apt whatever you want, whatever you want to do. But that's only Linux users would know that.
But now,
so in other words, sudo is a really powerful
Unix.
command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
Unix.
the Vedics who follow the Eastern traditions, the Vedics who follow their methodology, their way of calculating, and their calendar system, which is that sidereal calendar we talked about with the motion of the constellations over time, how they change position. They believe that they are probably the oldest civilization. I know Mandy Moo's in the chat room. She's going to get me on this. It's not me, Mandy. This is these guys are saying they're the oldest, most ancient, true form of astrology that there is, because their scripts, their scriptures and their texts go back 10,000 years, and nobody has anything older to substantiate it. Mm-hmm. They predate Egyptian. They predate everybody else. And I'm looking at it going, no, the Dogon were reading the constellations long before the Vedics. And so were the people in Australia. You can see it on their walls.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't tell me, but they're the folks in India, they feel that the Vedic tradition. The other thing that I noticed about them when I was doing my research is they're not unlike, and I don't mean, if anybody's a Vedic, I don't mean this to be insulting. It's just that it's very hard for someone like me. I came from a Roman Catholic background. It was very structured. And one of their tenets of their faith was that the Pope is infallible. We're the original true disciples of Christ. Therefore, you have to listen to us, and everybody else is wrong. And the Vedics do the same thing. The Vedics are saying that their methodology is the only true methodology, and everything else is canceled out. What I would say to that is, I've had the readings from the Western tradition. I've never had a Vedic reading, but I can tell you right now, they go much deeper. And if it were me, and I was going to get readings, I would take one of each from people I trusted, really, really had a relationship with, and trusted their intuition and their ability to translate, that they're tapped in. And I would take both those readings. Are going to be very different because they're using two different calendars. They're using two different types of modality to give you your reading. And then I would come in and I would blend and take the best of those things that vibed for me, that I resonated with. It came from my heart, not my head, from my heart. What makes sense to me, what resonates with me, and then use that as a guideline to help me make whatever decisions I want to make. Take the best of both.
But I think too, I've seen both too, Teresa, and they're like a lot of people's charts. There are going to be slightly different. But a lot of times it overlaps. Yeah, slightly, but a lot of the information completely overlaps.
That's what I'm wondering.
Divergent. So it is. No. When you look at a Vedic chart and a Western and put them, they're not. There's areas that are completely, they overlap and they're the same. But there's areas that they.
But the Vedics go deeper in terms of your karmic life path. They give you more data to go on, because I've seen some of their reports.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they just give you more detail, but they don't necessarily negate. And what they're saying is their way's the only way. Well, no, because you just got this reading over here. So just take both.
Yeah.
Or stick with one modality versus the other if you don't really care what your birth sign is. For those of you, but.
So
I'm with you. I would tend to look at both. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Truth Seeker says the estimates of how old Vedic civilization is are not accurate. They've been systematically underdated. And that's the thing. Where do you get the accuracy? How do you know when it's accurate? I mean,
Well, see, for example, I was told by a Hindu that some of the ancient songs, like the ragas, that those are actually like 400,000 years old.
wow.
That they found them like etched in stone on the walls of a certain temple in a big city in India. I forget what the name is, but once every 12 years they hold like a big festival there, and there's like literally 1 million people show up there. So that's what I mean. That's what their legend says, and I'm sure that legend isn't just pulled out of thin air.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's something to it.
Hey, Alex,
it's gotta be.
your buddy David Castle. Alex is an amazing, awesome guy. I'm going to be moving in with him during the winter soon. So someone should let him know I'll be there.
That's cool.
Max says Alex has a couch in Aruba for us. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, I would.
Let's remote
yeah,
view Alex's couch.
I would.
Yeah.
I would
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but that was just too good to pass up.
I love that.
Here in Germany, we get temperatures like -20 over the winter, and I'm sure that's like totally unheard of in Aruba.
Oh yeah, it only stays here between 27 degrees Celsius and 35. It will go up, but it doesn't.
That's great. Yeah, that's super.
Perfect.
Oh, is that nice?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Oh,
lovely
man.
temperature? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the water's what, like bath water? Nice and warm?
There's some. If you go in the morning, it will be cold, but at late afternoon is a bit warm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the point is that Julianne is trying to make your zodiac zoo dial. Are you trying to say we're all living in a zoo? Oh Lord. Let's see.
This
Who
is
else
true.
dropped in? Yeah.
This is true. Yeah.
Oh, to be used
you can
when.
derive that.
Yeah.
You can derive the age of something based on clues left in the zodiac patterns. Yeah,
Oh,
you're right
that's
about
cool.
that, Truth
Truth?
Seeker.
Yeah.
That's cool,
Yeah.
Truth.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So now we've learned a lot. I think we've learned a lot. I think I
Yeah.
try to seek out the readings from a Vedic, just simply because I think that they're a little bit more in tune with what's current.
Mm-hmm.
To get you that's just my feeling on it.
Yeah.
And we know what we need to do, everybody, when we're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
For the next couple months, we just need to stay the course, not flip out and lose our you know what. We went through this last year. Same thing.
Mhm.
Remember, we were all just like not eating, not sleeping. We felt that tension and last minute anxiety. And we all knew something terrible's coming, and it's like, we're working through a process and it's a cycle. We went through
I
this
think it's
last year
just
around
that
this time.
major change coming, and I think people are feeling that
The
change,
unknown.
the evolution
Yeah.
of the change. And maybe it's not always bad, but society these days, everyone defaults to what's bad about everything instead of what's right about it. So maybe that shifting that mindset is a good way to maintain your stability. And even if everything around you is falling down, at least you're stable and you're not letting others affect you in that way.
Well, at least this whole crisis has shown me who my real friends are, and I've actually gotten more friends than I've ever had before. Which is excellent. So
Yeah,
we love that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel a whole lot more connected now than I did a year ago, and even a year ago, I felt more connected than I did in the previous year. So it's a stacking on, growing process, and as you do the inner works, peeling away those layers of onion, and getting in connecting to your higher self, and getting to know your as you're transforming, your frequencies raising with everything around. I used to go completely bonkers. I don't go bonkers anymore, and I see wonderful examples of how this shift is really working when I look at what they're doing in Australia and some of the recent good outcomes in Canada, and even here in the United States. There's been some wackadoodle crazy things going on this week, but there's some positive things coming out of it. So I guess just keep focusing on the positive. What's good about, like Lori just said,
Yeah.
Not the oh my God, you know. But
Julianne says, rise above the middle pillar.
Yeah.
That's cool. And she's the one that says, she's coined that phrase, what's right about it. So, and that is just like ingrained in my mind. So every time I have a situation where something pops up like that, I'm like, what's right about it? And there's always something right about it. That's what's fascinating. Instead of defaulting to that negative, you know?
Yeah. I think that when with Jewel saying that, I think of the middle way, the balance in the middle. You think of even the yin yang symbol with the middle seam that goes across, and you've got the two sides and extremes, and the whole idea is to come into the center, into the middle, into the balance, so that you're not one way or the other. So
perfect.
So Michelle's in there. Equanimity.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
but it's also a quest for truth. We're all after the same thing. We're
absolutely
all after truth, and that's the highest value you can give anybody. And it doesn't matter what perspective you have, political or religious or any of that stuff. The truth.
And it seems like that's what's happening, because the truth is being exposed.
It's coming out.
It's really coming out, and I feel like it's just the momentum's going to carry through, just like you said, Alex, all the way through till March, and then I feel like it will stabilize in March. Yeah.
Now, Alex, are you still doing readings for people on the side? Or I know your YouTube channel has been up and down. You're back up on YouTube. You have 2 videos out there. Are you planning on building off of that, or going back to doing readings, or what's your plan?
Till now, I think till now I just go on people channel and do reading on the personal year number and give the information on the life path number.
Nice.
I did it on Code 1111 channel, and Milky Way, and also Cajun Queen. Also, those 3 I've got.
Yeah, I used to see you on Cajun Queen every now and then. Yeah. But I had a hard time finding your channel. Now, the one what's the link we're using for his channel, Lori?
It's in the description.
It's in the description, and it's got 2 of your videos on there. They're not the forecasts; they're the videos you were sharing out. I think music and a political review of something.
Oh yeah, just one was a feed, because I had a lot of video taken down, but the one is just a video. And the other one,
good for you.
The other video is just about it's about the dumps that is also being. There's a lot of deep underground military bases around the world, and that video talks about there are things being done on it that a lot of people don't know, and that's also going to come to the light.
That's being exposed, yes, as we speak. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, fascinating. Can't hide anymore.
Well, it looks for all intents and purposes, we're living in the time of revelations. I'm not a big Bible scholar or anything like that, but in Revelations 18:16, it clearly states that in the end times, the world will be I think taken over by sorcery. And in the Septuagint Greek that the New Testament was written in, sorcery is translated as pharmakia.
Pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, you said a mouthful there. Oh.
Yeah, Revelations.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is one is gonna go down as the pharma or the sorcerers cartels.
Yep.
Going down.
Hello, Jan. Welcome, Jansu. Sao.
Hey, Jansu.
Jansu.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Welcome.
Awesome.
Which is why I stay away from that kind of sorcery, and use only natural materials like vitamins, garlic. Minerals, that sort of thing. Even aspirin is a natural material, because in the Middle Ages they used to take like willow bark that contains aspirin. And if you make a tea out of it, it's the same thing. Same thing as taking a pill of aspirin. So not all pills are unnatural per se. So, but you got to keep up with vitamin D, vitamin C, garlic, that sort of thing.
Especially if you live in the north. The lack of sunlight, then it's good to take vitamin D3
Yes.
pills. D3.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
probably the lowest, that and what, magnesium?
Yeah.
Um,
Magnesium,
especially,
calcium.
yeah, our diet's very low in that. But yeah,
Mhm.
gotta
Yeah.
get the sunlight. You need that.
I take the supplements whenever I can, or eat the foods that I can to get it in there.
Mhm.
Max Vision. Balance doesn't mean being angry in the morning and happy at night. Damn,
No,
that
great.
wasn't working
No,
for me.
no, that's
That's brilliant.
that's the extremes we were talking about.
True.
That's the two. That's the extremes.
So I guess you're
Pick
okay
something in the
about
middle there.
lunchtime. Too
You're okay
funny.
at lunchtime? Yeah. That's your most balanced point of the day is lunch. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome. Well,
Well, anyway.
such a pleasure to have
right.
you, Alex. Always
Yes, we
good
really
to have you
enjoyed
with us. Yes. And anytime you're
thank you.
welcome. Anytime.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was lovely. It was awesome with all of you here.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect timing that you
Mhm.
reached out to us. It's a good message because November's halfway over,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering what was going on. I knew a little
Yeah.
bit about November, but I didn't know what's to expect and how they talked about, what's going to be unfolding over the next 3 or 4 months. All I know is
Okay.
that what we've been through so far is I'm seeing a lot of positive outcomes so far. I'm sorry, Karen.
Yeah, and it's November. We're preparing, right? We're getting
Mhm.
ready, and I
Yes.
think what the woman was saying with the numerology and the 4 steps is about our intent and our focus. And the first thing was about intent for our manifestation, to move forward, right? So it's very important in November here to do that and to be quiet and really focus, and so that when we move into the next month or so, that we've already established and thrown it out to the universe, and it'll take course. And then that's why when the solar eclipse comes in, that will be a real time of action of what we focused on at this time during the lunar, right? So during the lunar eclipse, we can start preparing and focus, and that's a time of creating, and then it'll come into action at the solar.
Yeah.
Excellent
Yeah.
point. Excellent. Mm-hmm.
Well, before we sign off, I would like to put a special request for intense and healing out there for all of our Soul Tribe members that are experiencing great difficulty right now, whether it be financial or health-wise, particularly those that are being told they have,
Mhm.
and have developed complications on top of that. So we put this intent out for Rocky Stucci and his family and his mama. We put this intent out for Roger Rabbit and his little girl Kinsey, that she'll get through this safely, and Carly, who has immune deficiency disorder. So all you folks, we're putting our protection, sending the angels of protection and love and light to surround you and your family at this time. All fear be taken away. Nothing but positive outcome for all of you, and heartfelt love. Get you all the help you need from the universe. Know that your family's going to make it through this, and everything's going to be okay. You're whole, perfect, and complete. You're one with the universe. And keep that in your heart, and don't put your mind on the anxiety or the tension, but focus on the belief that the universe will give you and your family everything you need to heal and get through this difficult time. And it's been said, and so be it.
Well said. Well said.
Well said, Teresa.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so
Excellent.
much.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Alex.
All right.
Please do come back and join us.
Thank you, Alex.
I hope you get the
Much
message
appreciation.
Thank you.
See you all Friday night. Mark Bright
Yes.
coming back. The
Yeah.
genealogist.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Gonna be fun.
Gonna be
Thanks,
doing the
everyone.
Patry paints. See you later.
Much love.
Later.
Bye bye, everyone.